Ethan, over on your left. You guys have talked about how well you played down the stretch. I'm sure you thought you played well in spurts today as a team. Is it frustrating that you're feeling, frustration that you're feeling right now? Any sense of satisfaction in the way you played, or is the loss just wipe any sense of satisfaction out that you might have?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good to lose, obviously, but I'm proud of the way these guys fought. I need to step it up a little bit. Brad did a great job, but we got some more basketball to play, so we're on to next.
This is for Brad, over here on your right. How do you explain what you're able to do after you inch your shoulder and come back in a game, and especially that stretch where you got 11 straight points? What was your head there?
I mean, I guess I just want to get it back into place first so I can go out there and play. And I love playing basketball, so whether it's a bruise or whatever it is, I'm just trying to let anything hold me back. I'm just going out there and trying to win. So I just try not to really think about the pain or anything that goes along with it. Just go out there and play.
Not too loud for anyone. What's the biggest difference on this team between the team that lost 7 straight games and then went out beating Purdue on the home court and then 2 more wins after that and almost upending number 2 today?
I think it's the little things that Coach has been preaching. I think we've been buying into them, and we continue to try to improve at them every game and every practice. And I think as we've gotten into this season, we've gotten a little bit better at playing with one another and holding each other accountable, and I think we came a lot closer as a unit through that struggle. And so it brought us closer together, and that shows in our play.
Coach Gard, Tom Izzo has a ton of respect for you and has talked about that since you got this job. I'm curious, you've seen them now a couple times. In your opinion, Coach, with all the basketball you've seen, how good or what's the ceiling on this Spartan team, sir?
Well, they can hurt you in so many ways. I mean, obviously they're too deep at every position. And I think the biggest difference from last year to this year and playing against them and watching them, the addition of Jackson, because he erases a lot of mistakes. You can do things, execute things very well offensively. You get them to break down or make a mistake in the spot, and he's able to erase it for them. I think the other thing is Bridges' ability to stretch the defense. You now have to come out with him, which allows more space for Ward to operate, more space for Jackson to operate. And again, I had a third thing. I think the improvement of Winston. I think his evolution as a point guard, even through the course of this year, has been, you got a guard that good. He really, when push came to shove, just it was a matter of him making plays. Ceiling, and I haven't seen everybody else. We've seen 3 or 4 of the other ones in the top ones in the country: Virginia, Xavier, obviously Purdue. So they're right up there with everybody. But it's a matter of in tournament play. As you go to postseason, you got to play well in that 40 minutes, because if you have a off night or something doesn't go well, or it's that body of work doesn't mean anything if the 40 minutes don't go how you want it. But they're obviously very, very good. They're 28-3 and where they are for a reason. It's not a fluke.
Greg, you guys are in position of 49-47 after making those 2 free throws. What do you think was a bigger factor that led to the loss? Was it the second chances that you guys kept giving them, or a couple of defensive breakdowns when they had that spurt? I mean, they had 4 shots on 4 possessions.
Yeah, I thought we didn't do a consistent enough job on the glass all day. Even in the first half, we gave them too many second chances. I thought we could have been better defensively in the paint, preventing some catches. And obviously that gives them life. And then, but also I think we had it was a 6 possession stretch it was 47-45 or 49-47. We don't have a field goal in 6 possessions. I think we had 3 points, 3 free throws in 6 possessions, and that was where, obviously when you're back and forth like that, it was just enough separation that we couldn't get back. They were able to keep us at bay once they got to 4 or 6. So that's a fine line that we've obviously walked all year. I think our line we've gotten better in that we can make a surge back. But with a team like this, like I said, you don't want to give a really good hitter more at bats. So we need to not give them as many at bats as what we did, and obviously that's in large part with the inability to be consistently good enough on the defensive glass.
Is there any more questions for the athletes?
Yeah, I got one right here.
Right here and then Jim.
You were so hot in that second half. You had 23 points, Brad. And what was going through your head at that time?
I was just trying to win. Do everything that I could to win. You know, my jumper felt good, so that was kind of what I was going to. And they have a lot of big guys inside, so you know, jump shot was kind of what I was going to, but I was just trying to win.
Brad, following up on that back here, do you get much personal satisfaction out of a game like that, or because you lost, does that kind of wipe that out?
No, I'm really all about winning. It's really all I care about. You know, we were right there. Hopefully, we're looking forward to an opportunity to play them again next week.
Ethan, over on the left side, you've played their big guys twice now. Can you describe how difficult it is to get space, to do what you normally like to do around the basket?
I think Michigan State sets their defense really well, and playing against length like that is tough, and big bodies, you know. And as Coach Gard said, they're too deep at every position, so it's, you know, they're rolling guys in there. Credit to Michigan State for playing a good game defensively. I mean.
One more for the players, go ahead.
Ethan in the back, with such an inexperienced team, what is your message going to be to them heading into what is now an entirely new season? You forget about the Big Ten regular season, now you look forward to the tournament.
I actually didn't say it. It was Brad in the locker room after the game where he said,
I just told him we'd rather beat them next week anyways. You know, we control our own destiny. It's not college football, it's college basketball where regular season is kind of washed away. We control our own destiny. We got to come back to practice, ready to improve, ready to get better. And like I said, this thing's far from over. You know, it stinks that we lost on senior night for our seniors. But in our opinion, we got a lot more basketball to play. So we're going to keep working, get healthy, continue to improve, and make a run at this thing.
Thanks, guys.
Greg, I wanted to ask you about Cassius Winston, and you've seen him play for a couple of years. This might have been sort of his signature game to this point, that a game that mattered as much to him. Can you talk about what you've seen from his development and what he was able to do there?
Well, I think decision-making, 5 assists, 4 turnovers. Yeah, decision-making, he's gotten better. His ability to make plays, obviously, has always been there with the ball, but the addition or the evolution, the improvement of three-point shooting, you know, now you got to stretch a little farther on him. You know, in ball screen situations, especially with Jackson as a big that they use in ball screens there in that latter part of the first or second half, it stretches you because you got to pay attention to him, and then they've got a big that can shoot the ball as well as what Jackson does. That puts you in a little bit of a pickle, but you got a guard that has that type of athletic ability and burst that he can, you know, make plays with the ball, create separation for that type of throwback action in shot clock situations, and then obviously he knows when to, you know, he makes big shots at big times. So I think just he's always been a good player. Now you see him start to evolve into his role and how he can insert himself or step on the gas when he needs to step on the gas for them. And he made big shots at times when they needed it.
Greg, on your right, you talked about wanting to see more consistency from this team, even practice to practice. Based on the way they played the last couple weeks, do you feel like they're playing some of their more consistent basketball heading into the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, I think it's just shown. I thought we were starting to show signs, at least in practice, and I saw more things in games even before we got the results we wanted over the last 3 weeks. But this group has continued to persevere, continued to work. It hasn't been easy, and obviously we have our limitations. But they've improved and become more consistent, maybe as well as any group that we've had around here in a little bit in terms of where we started from and what we had to work through, specifically in experience and with obviously having to shuffle the deck a little bit in December. You know, to be able to, even though you don't like the result, we couldn't have competed like this with this group maybe in mid-January. They've stuck with it, and that's a credit to our players because they've been very, very resilient.
Any more questions for Coach?
Greg, yes, Brad and Charlie Thomas showed up tonight, Van Vliet the other night. First of all, I mean, even down the line, what does it mean to your improvement, the way you're starting to get contributions from the other guys besides maybe Ethan and Brad?
Well, I think you're seeing as guys get more and more experience, and specifically with Khalil. Now, Khalil didn't score today, but the job he did on Bridges was pretty good. You know, as guys get more experience, Brevin and Khalil are going through this volume of minutes for the first time, and I think there's an evolution process that takes place. I thought for matchup purposes, the other night was better for Andy facing zone and less physicality. Today was better for Charlie because it was more physicality, and obviously we needed to have all the beef out there that we could find. So, you know, they're taking steps forward. It's maybe not at the pace that we always want because coaches are never satisfied. But I think we've seen with that crew and obviously Aleem, the steps he's taken through the year, that the guys are trending in the right direction. It's just that we started with obviously only really Ethan with a large volume of experience. The other guys have had to play catch up with, you know, 25, 30, 35 minutes in a game, something that, and you're playing obviously very high level teams that, you know, the experience sometimes comes in a painful way in terms of who you're playing against, what you're playing and those things, but happy of how they've continued to work and they have gotten better.
Jim?
Greg, you've said over and over this season how impressed you are with some of the things Brad has done. Does that appreciation go to another level today?
Well, I mean, obviously he's a competitor. You've heard me say several times. And, you know, for him to, I mean, he basically he ran by me to the scores table. And I guess he was good to go. The trainers didn't stop me from putting him in, so it just shows who he is. And like I said, his mentality and his approach and his competitiveness has become infectious. And I think that's part of the reason why we've surged here, is because of his persona, his presence is starting to infiltrate in other areas, and that's what when you have a leader, even though he's still a rookie, you have a leader that they don't have to look to him as to see how he plays. I mean, he speaks very well, and he obviously says the right things, but you know, just watch how he plays, watch how he competes. He's on the floor, he's coming back in after getting his shoulder put back in, and you know, that's a good message, even visually, for other players in terms of how hard you need to play this game and how to compete. So he's helped us in more ways than just what statistically you see on paper. There's so much he's done for us in terms of the culture and the growth of this young group.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.